Hello and welcome back to live coverage of the Apex Gaming $20,000 Invitational sponsored by TCGplayer.com. I'm Tandy, joined by Ross Merriam. Say hi, Ross.
Hi, Ross.
We have 4 players left in the event. Ross, why don't you give us a rundown of those 4 players and their decks and the matchups we're going to be watching this round?
So our backup match is going to be Strider Swift, who is our 8 seed on Amulet Titan, against Franklin Folks, the 4 seed on Hardened Scales. This is a matchup of 2 very explosive decks. Not a ton of interaction on either side. So normally I would side with Franklin for being on the play, but I think Amulet is just a little bit more explosive than Scales, and the ability to potentially tutor up some Besajus and things like that might buy Strider a turn to help him break serve. So I kind of like Strider in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm an Amulet Titan deck and, you tell me my opponent is like a burn deck or scales deck, I know that they're aggressive, but they're not disruptive. And so I know exactly how to mulligan, and I know that my deck can win faster than them. So I'm pretty happy about it. Which one of them is on the play? Do you know that
Folks.
Folks is going to be on the play? That actually might be the deciding factor. The hardened scales decks can really get off to a fast start, and even things like Walking Ballista can help punch through the one ring, which is normally a great piece of protection for their life total.
Yeah, you can also potentially make a big enough ballista to protect yourself from a Primeval Titan.
Right.
So, yeah, it could definitely go either way. It's going to be a close one, but I'm going to take Strider in
Sure.
as a slight edge. And then the match that we're going to start with, we have Travis Brown, the man, the myth, the legend. He's been tearing it up with Mono White Hammer over the last couple of months. Is in our semifinals with that deck. Has to play the mirror match against Amina Body, a matchup he lost in the Swiss. Amin is going to be on the play, 6 seed against 7 seed. Both these players won on the draw in the quarterfinals. It's a near 75 card mirror. It's 71 cards. And said one of the differences, Amina Body has a second copy of Pithing Needle in his sideboard. That could be helpful in the mirror, and he's on the play. So once again, my head says slight edge away from Travis Brown, but I'm never picking against him
All right.
again. Travis
Okay,
Brown.
Travis Brown is going to be the winner of this tournament. That's what Ross is saying. That's what I'm going to say too. All right. Well, that is the matchup we're going to be watching. A hammer mirror. Let's go head on down and watch Amina Body versus Travis Brown and see who takes it down. Travis Brown takes it downtown. Downtown Brown.
Travis Brown has been taking a lot of people downtown recently.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, 2 people took him downtown in the quarterfinal or in the Swiss, but he was able to squeak into top 8 with 2 losses.
Just like he did last month. He never dies.
Okie dokie. Okay, so we're gonna do a little predictor here. If you'd like to gamba in the chat with some of those play points,
Give us those channel points.
yeah, we need them. We need to put some channel point redemptions where like make me say bok bok. I'll do that anyway, but you can also make me do it.
Okay. Amin starts with Giver of Runes and Ornithopter. Looking at Travis's hand, I see some lands. I see a Stoneforge Mystic. One of the lands is a Ganjo, Seed of the Empire. One of the few ways to actually interact.
All right, both players here are leading with Ornithopter, but a body does have Giver of Runes that can protect his creatures in combat and let them attack unfettered. Here's Stoneforge Mystic, a nice start for Amin, and we'll see if Travis can match it. But on the draw, even a matched version of this draw is going to be a little bit worse.
Yeah, we'll see. Gets the Cauldron complete, so probably doesn't have a way to equip a hammer, does Amin, but the Cauldron can also be quite good.
Yeah, and Travis Brown gonna maybe match him here, but if he has Sigarda's Aid or Pure Steel Paladin, maybe he goes for one of those hammers instead and goes for a big combo kill later.
Now, one potentially awkward outcome of Cauldron complete is if Amin wants to get that Germ token to attack through opposing colorless blockers, he can't really with Giver of Runes, because if you give the Germ pro colorless, the equipment falls off.
Oh, tough. Well, let's hope that doesn't come up. So that'll be a tough conversation to have.
Why don't you put that Germ away?
All right, Chapter 2, Urza Saga. A body here going to get Emiria and take 3. Playing it untapped. Now we can activate the Stoneforge Mystic, but we're going to start with Springleaf Drum. That one's basically free. Going to put in Cauldron Complete and start smushing in for 5.
So, pretty mirrored draws from both players, but Amin with the advantage, both being on the play and having that Giver of Runes from turn 1. That is going to complicate things for Travis Brown and make it easier for Amin to finish off this game from his already advantaged position.
Let's take a look at Cauldron Complete, because I know that when this card deals damage to a creature, if it somehow survives, it will exile the creature, right? Let's take a look
Correct.
at
It
Cauldron
does
Complete.
exile the creature, but if the creature dies to combat damage, it'll go be put in the graveyard with that trigger on the stack.
Okay. All right. So if it gets protection, the damage is prevented. So it's not if that creature blocked, it's specifically if
Yes.
it takes damage. Okay.
Yep.
So Give Her Runes a nice check for this Cauldron Complete mirror happening right now.
Now the Cauldron Complete does grant the Germ Trample, so the Amin's block there and protection with the Giver only soaks up 2 damage from the Ornithopter's toughness, 3 coming across. That's why you see a body at 17.
Yep. I'm gonna go smack our Bricker. He's in the he's in the booth doing live totals and he's behind.
Amin should be at 14 though, right? Because he took 3 from the Emiria.
Yeah, and I think we might just be dead, but we did see the thing that you talked about, the not giving protection from colorless. It would have been a disaster.
Yeah,
Now,
so that was an attack for 15 with Travis at 15. He chumps with an Ornithopter, takes 13 to 2.
okay, finally getting life totals updated here for you, and now Travis Brown down to 2, doesn't have a way out. And he packs it in a quick game 1 to Amina Body. A very similar draw, but Giver of Runes and being on the play ended up being all she wrote, and Travis Brown down a game.
Yeah.
As these players reach for their sideboards and look for some help, I'm going to reach over to Ross and look for some help. Why don't you give us your expert analysis on how you think these players are going to be sideboarding, and let's start with who's going to be on the play, and that's Travis Brown.
So, Travis Brown's sideboard is 4 Solitude, 2 Drannith Magistrate, 4 Strict Proctor, 2 Mana Tithe, and 3 Cursed Totem. I like the Solitudes for interaction. The rest of it, not so much.
Okay. Yeah. This is a deck that's very specific in its sideboard cards. It wants answers to things like Cascade, protection effects, as well as ways to be resilient in harder matchups. The mirror match is not really their concern. You know, the deck isn't fluent with removal spells and things like that. And that's how you pressure or like that's how you attack these mono white hammer decks. And without something like that, there's no reason to overboard for the mirror.
Yeah. And Amin's very similar, has 4 Solitude as well, 4 Strict Proctor, goes up to 3 Drannith Magistrate, and also has the 3 Curse Totem. Doesn't have the Mana Tithes, but the last card here, 1 Pithing Needle. I think that will come in along with the Solitudes. It is a symmetric effect in a mirror match, but you can often realize, oh, my opponent is about to equip Hammer, I can't, now I can stop it. You know, if you get your saga going first, you can make some constructs and then name Urza Saga to stop theirs from making constructs. There's a lot of ways to break the synergy with Pithing Needle, so it should be good enough to bring in.
All right, on the other side of things, it is a mirror match and it's pretty close, 71 of 75. But does Amina Body have anything that you think he might be bringing in, whereas Travis might not have it or leave it on the sideline?
Yes, the Pithing Needle that we just talked about.
Okay, I'm just doing my routine, man. I'm so sorry. All right. When I ask you a question, I don't listen. I just let you talk, and then I know what I'm going to ask next, and I hope that it's okay. And I just stepped in it there, didn't I? All right. Well, as these players are shuffling up here for game number 2, I'd like to take a moment and say thank you to our sponsors, Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. They have good food and good fun. We were there Friday night, and we're likely going back tonight after our tournament is done, and we're going to hang out with some friends and have a good time. Thank you so much to them for sponsoring today's event. Thank you to Ultimate Guard. Ultimate Guard is the industry leader in TCG supplies, from the Katana sleeve to the Archive deck box. That giant box can contain your whole cube or your Commander decks. Make sure to ask your local game store for Ultimate Guard products today and ask for it by name. Thanks again to Moxfield. Moxfield is a deck building website you can use to easily share and archive your decks that you'd like to construct on their website. I've been using it for my stream recently, and it's easy to navigate and really easy to work with. So thank you so much to them for sponsoring us, and I look forward to using their product more, and we'll be using them to post our deck lists on our YouTube channel if you're watching this on YouTube right now.
Okay, Travis Brown on the play. Just got to do the same thing to Amin, and then for game 3, we go to plan A. My opponent mulligans to 4.
That's plan A?
That's always plan A.
Okay.
It's the
Plan
best
A
plan.
doesn't happen too much, though.
I know. I'm frequently on plan B or C. But it's plan A.
All right, looks like we have a decent opener from Travis Brown. I see Saga, Springleaf Drum, some white cards. Maybe there's not a Plains in there. Maybe there's not a white source. Amina Body going to take a mulligan, a quick one to 6, and we'll see if he's able to find a keeper.
And if you're Travis, you're kind of happy that your opponent's mulliganing, but you're also like, maybe you should mulligan when you're on the play.
Yeah, maybe I should be more greedy.
Yeah. It's really unlucky of me that you only got unlucky in the one game when I get to be on the play.
Yeah. Magic is not about skill or luck, but a series of unluck.
About a lemony snickets.
Okay, I mean, taking a look at the 6, we're going to put 1 on bottom, and we're going to be off to the races. Game number 2 of our first semifinal match. Travis Brown and Amina Body both playing Mono White Hammer. Here's an explosive start. Springleaf Drum, Ornithopter into Esper Sentinel. This could be a nice deterrent to keep Amina off playing those early non-creatures. Otherwise, Travis Brown gets to refuel and draw a card. The Esper Sentinel, in my opinion, is one of the better cards for Modern Horizons 2, but got strangled a bit by the addition of both Fury and Orcish Bowmasters in recent times.
Definitely did. No one toughness creatures for us.
Yeah, Ignoble Hierarch, you were really cool for about 2 seconds. Then you died. All right, back Travis Brown's way. We can activate one of these Urza Sagas to make a construct, or we can play the Forge Anew. It looks like we're going to go for the Forge Anew and attack for 1. And next turn, we're going to look to maybe get an equipment down. We can find one off the Urza Saga and then equip it for free, thanks to that Forge Anew static effect. A body, turn 2, goes for an Esper Sentinel of his own. And a passing of the turn. Not the best start for him. We'll see if Travis Brown can close this one quickly. Chapter 3. We're going to make a construct, or are we going to float? We have a forced block on the Esper Sentinel, which is nice, and we can put a hammer on each of our creatures if we like. I think that'll be pretty disastrous for a body because we'll be taking 10 and facing down 2 10-10s next turn.
Yeah, that's I mean, being on the play had a more explosive draw, and there's really just not a lot of interaction from the other side.
Yeah, Minamati does nothing and dies. Travis Brown gonna be on the draw for game 3, gonna do nothing and die. We do see a Pithy Needle from Travis Brown, but I don't think that that's gonna be the one that we play. So here's a cool thing. We can go attack with a Ornithopter. After no blocks, we can equip it for free at instant speed with Forge Anew. And then post-combat, we can maybe play some more stuff like maybe Pithy Needle on opponents. Or we can actually name Pithy Needle with a hammer if we really want to. And that actually ends up making it so the body side of things can't combo kill you out of nowhere. But it doesn't look like that's going to be an issue. Body here. Circle in the drain. All right, let's see what we can put together.
I'm gonna guess nothing.
Another Saga. Can make a construct blocker. Your Stoneforge Mystic. Is there anything colorless in the deck that can be played here as protection, or are we just in forever chump block mode?
I think we are in chump block mode until we can assemble our own hammer plus shadow spear combo. But Brown is going to do that first. But if we can eventually get to the point where we're still alive and we have it too, we're at least kind of stable, and then it's a race to find the second hammer to turn the race in your favor.
The big deal here is that Amin did not play a Sigarda's Aid on turn 1 and did not play Forge Anew on turn 3. And so even if we're able to draw some of those pieces of equipment, we don't really have a great way to put them on our creatures. Maybe we're going to be looking for Pierce Paladin next turn. And that's assuming we get a next turn, which is very unlikely here.
Yeah, it is much too slow of a draw on the draw for Amin here. Was probably kept a functional hand, was just crossing his fingers that Travis didn't have a great hand himself, and they could have played a grindy game with these 2 Urza Sagas. But that is not the case. Look how quickly Travis is going. He knows this game is over right now.
Yeah, so we can go get Hammer or Shadow Spear. We can only freely equip one of them this turn, so that's something interesting to think about. Unless Travis has a Sigarda's Aid or something else to pair with the thing from hand.
And we find, okay. We've slowed down a little bit now. Maybe Travis is starting to think about potential counterplay. Maybe Solitude is something he wants to play around, but he goes for the Shadow Spear.
Solitude is one that can kind of break parity and break serve here. You know, like the whole problem with mono white hammer is that you basically just are constricting the game no matter which side you're on. If you're a hammer, you're constricting the game to about 4 relevant turns, and if your opponent's able to disrupt you a little bit every time they do, it like adds another turn to the clock. But Solitude in the mirror match is one thing that can definitely elongate the game, and Amina Body's going to need it right now.
Ooh, looks like Travis wants to go back into his deck, and Amin doesn't want him to.
Okay, well, head judge is sitting right there, so if that's the case,
All right, instead goes for a Springleaf Drum, so wants access to additional mana here.
okay, we're going to use the mana to play a hammer. We can equip that at instant speed. We have a lot of pressure here.
So if we want, we can attack with... What happens if we attack with everything?
How many artifacts do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can't. We have no lands in play. I want to make that clear. So we can't just like cast something without tapping a creature in the Springleaf Drum. So we're gonna have a big attack, and Amina Body's gonna chump block the Esper Sentinel, and Hammer's gonna equip 2.
The construct, so this is 17.
Yep.
So body down to 2.
And now we can go Pithy Needle on Hammer, and that'll make it very difficult for a Body, I think, to win with Pure Steel Paladin. Maybe we do it on Urza Saga. What do you name with the needle here, Ross?
Yeah, but Hammer makes some sense. I don't think you're really in danger of dying. You're kind of worried about Solitude, but it's very clear Amin doesn't have any.
Yeah.
Maybe you just name Urza Saga to stop constructs from being made, but you don't really care about construct blockers either.
Okay.
This is one of those spots where Travis Brown is so far ahead that it's not really necessary to have the needle. And you're sort of straining to find the corner case where it's relevant.
All right, well, a big attack did put Amina Body down below 10 life just then. We didn't mark it on the life totals, but we are going to finish that game off, and we even it up. Travis Brown 1-1 against Amina Body. 2 big names here on the Apex series, playing most of our events, and we are very happy to see them in top 4.
I know they've both won, qualifier events this year, not just finished second, and they were both at Apex, and I think they might have been the last two that, at least the last two that I've been here for. I think
let's see, for Modern, I'm trying to think, because we have an event here about once every 90 days, and I know that in the past few months, I think Don Delosier won one of our last few Modern ones with Rakdos Scam.
Yeah, you're right. Don won one in between. Travis won the most recent one. Don the one before that.
Another top 8 competitor here today.
Yeah, I wasn't here for the one before that, and then the one before that one was Amin. So
I think it was a body into a body, because it was like Hammer into Yawgmoth, but it was one of each of the
Amin and Gabe.
I think
a lot of players riding momentum into this Invitational, and now the 2 players with the most momentum have collided here in the semifinals. And so far, it's been the person on the play with an explosive draw, no counterplay from the player going second. But with the Solitudes in the decks now in post sideboard, it's easier to break serve.
All right, so you've heard of a movable object versus unstoppable force. What about unkillable Travis versus unbeatable Amin?
I mean, Travis is the one that seems completely unbeatable. He's been crushing SCGs, Apex events, wherever he goes. Just hammers people and collects checks.
All right, well, players here are about ready for game number 3. This is our first semifinal matchup. Hammer Mirror. These players are each collecting at least $1,200 for their troubles this weekend. That's 3rd and 4th payout. If they win this match, they will be guaranteed $2,400, and if they win the best of 5 finals, they'll walk away with $4,000 cash.
Hey. Step 1 is, does Travis Brown have a Solitude? Keeping the hand face down there so can't get a peek. Looks like Amin took a mulligan to 6 here, so that's good. If you're a Travis Brown fan.
Scar's Aid, the turn 1 play for a body, one of the more explosive turn 1 starts. Here is Springleaf Drum and Ornithopter again. Do we have another 1-drop to pay it off?
Yeah, do you have your own Sigarda's Aid to match a means? Looks like maybe an Esper Sentinel.
Yeah, that's
Nope,
fine too, but
there's
we do
has
go for
both.
Cigar's Aid. That threatens a turn 2 kill. Let's see if he can get it going. Mina Body, we're going to go back his way. No creature yet. Here's Stoneforge Mystic, but shields are down. Does Travis Brown have double hammer?
Yeah, the drum Ornithopter play is a little like having Gemstone Caverns here on the draw. So Travis Brown kind of steals the play. Now has access to 3 mana on turn 2.
All right, I
Could
see a Stoneforge Mystic.
yeah,
We can get that into play and look for a hammer and put it on the Ornithopter and swing for 10.
yeah. Basically putting a mean to the Solitude test on turn 2.
Now, we were talking a little bit in the quarterfinals, like Travis Brown's been playing this Emiria version of Hammer for quite some time, and a body adopting that same build with the Solitudes in the sideboard. And you have to imagine, like, this is the matchup where Solitude is going to be vital.
Yeah, this one and Rakdos Scam are the main ones where it comes in.
Okay.
Hey, I definitely saw a second copy of Emiria in Travis Brown's hand. That could get awkward. If he has to deal 6 damage to himself to maintain tempo in these early turns, maybe Amin could steal this game.
Well, Amin is on the play, and if Travis Brown just goes hammer attack, we know a body has a hammer in hand. So all he needs is one other hammer, either drawing it or finding it with Stoneforge Mystic, maybe. But it's going to be a pretty scary turn for Travis once he passes back, for sure.
Yeah, Travis could potentially play. Ooh, gonna.
Not even going to go for the hammer, instead getting Esper Sentinel down so that we can draw a card. Maybe that protects us, or if we can draw a Solitude.
I do see another Stoneforge Mystic in the body's hand, but doesn't have enough mana to go Stoneforge plus 2/1 mana equipment, whether it's Hammer, Shadow Spear, or Hammer, Hammer.
Okay,
Ooh,
we're going to put in the Cauldron Complete. This is a 5/5 indestructible. This one's going to be good either defensively or offensively, however Amin wants the sequence here.
And with Hammer back in hand, he's got a really nice setup here for attack for 5, next turn attack for 15.
I think he has an Emiria for a land, so we can shock in here and maybe just swing for 15 this turn. Okay, there it is. Going to take 3 down to 17. Here goes Emiria. Yeah. Pithing Needle. Whoa. We're going to name Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, so that means that some shenanigans are locked down for Travis Brown. We're going to pass back. I don't like a pass back because the Ornithopter can attack, and then after blocks, we can play the hammers and kill.
Yeah, so the Cauldron Complete Germ is not really doing much as a blocker. It's checking Stoneforge Mystic and Esper Sentinel. And I think I would take the 5 damage for 2 damage trade if I were Amin.
All right, here's a Ginger Brute. This is actually going to threaten lethal in 2 swings. We can give it unblockable except by other haste creatures, and then we can play hammer and attack for 11.
The Germ does have haste, though.
Oh, snap. Good call.
And it's just Hammer and Emiria in hand for Travis. He needs one more Hammer to try to force through lethal here and just doesn't have it. And now Amin can get a Hammer off the Saga and has Hammer in hand as well. Could also go for a Shadow Spear. I think things are looking good for Amin. Travis got out ahead, but didn't have the tools to close out the game where Amin does.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see if Amin can win this turn. I think it's pretty likely, thanks to the hammer being found off Saga and the hammer in hand. This is so much damage, and while Travis Brown can block and play hammer on his creature to stop some of the bleeding, basically he's going to lose most of his board here and not really have much to show for it.
Yeah, this is going to be a 25-point attack, so if you're Travis Brown, you need to soak up at least 9 of it.
Okay, trigger Esper Sentinel. Do you want to pay the 1? If he needs his mana here, he might let the draw go through, and that draw could find a Solitude. With the trigger on the stack, we're going to play hammer on the Sentinel, and now we're going to draw a card because we can't pay 11. So,
Okay, so is that another Hammer?
I think we found a Cauldron Complete, but that Stoneforge Mystic is now locked down thanks to the Pithing Needle.
So heady play from Amin, getting paid off for the Blind Needle.
Okay. We got big attack coming in. 25. We have to block with at least the Esper Sentinel. And I think after that, I don't really know what the top of the deck can be for Travis Brown to get out of this. Has to be maybe Solitude. Solitude or bust. And then we have a long game because Amin gains 25.
Yeah, then then it would be a race for Amin to find something like Pure Steel Paladin or Forge Anew.
Okay, we're going to block 10, take 15. We're going to go down to 2.
It's 11 because the Esper Sentinel has
Right.
1 base toughness.
Down to 3. Post combat. Here's another Stoneforge Mystic. So we can find another hammer. Now even a Solitude might not get the job done because we can put a hammer on another creature.
But that creature won't have any sort of evasion, so we can chump block the hammered creature and the Solitude the Germ.
All right, I'm going to go back Travis Brown's way. Another Stoneforge Mystic. That could be a start.
Where does that get us? Amin is at 17, and we're down the hammer. That's the card we needed basically any other turn before this one.
Yeah, we could have potentially killed him with it, but I think it's not going to be enough. We can't re-equip the hammer that's in play because the Sigardizade only works when it enters play the first time. We don't have a Forge Anew, and we don't have a Pure Steel Paladin. I think that's going to be all she wrote, and Travis Brown going to fall short in Amina Body. Punches his ticket to the finals with Mono White Hammer. Congrats to Amina Body for locking up at least second place, $2,400, and a handshake from you.
Yeah, potentially, proving that he is the true hammer master. Beat Travis Brown twice today in that mirror match.
Maybe also the better twin. Let's be real.
Yeah.
As a twin, were you ever competitive with your twin?
Of course.
Right, and they're identical twins. Their level of competition often is staggering.
It's a different breed of twin. But,
all right,